Hi, I'm Tina Piermarini. Today I'm sticking my neck out for clams and calamari. We're going to start out with our calamari sauce first. I'm going to put some oil. This is about 1/4 cup of onion, and I have 1 clove of garlic. Now what I want to do is I actually want to start the garlic and onions out first. I want them to get soft. I want them to cook. So I'm going to leave those in the pan like that. In the meantime, now when I do a calamari sauce, I don't throw my peppers and everything in there. I have already stripped, seasoned, cooked peppers in a white wine and season them all by themselves, because when I cook calamari, I don't want everything to have that fishy taste, because calamari can be fishy. When you're thawing it, you could thaw it in milk if you don't like calamari. Now I bought this at the grocery store. It was in the freezer section. It's little tiny squid, okay? You got to make sure that the tentacles don't have any ink sacs, because those are horrible and they're awful. They taste terrible. You don't want those in there at all. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to just take this out like so. Okay, we're just going to do one. I'm going to do a small batch. Okay, now you would have to increase your onions, garlic, so on and so forth, the bigger you make it. But usually this is going to be like almost like a single serving. This we sometimes serve Christmas Eve. I try to do as many fishes as I can on Christmas Eve. I do calamari and shrimp, and we do scallops, and we do haddock, and we do clam sauce, which I want to do today, and we do tuna sauce, which I don't know if I'll have time today. I'm cutting these up because I don't want them big. I don't want the legs choking people. Alrighty. Now I took that off because it was getting away from me. Whenever you're cooking and your stuff gets too hot, it starts to get away from you, pull it off. You don't want it burnt. It's not going to be good burnt. Okay, I'm going to slide this back on. It's going to take a minute to start cooking again, but not long. See how they're starting to get soft? This is kind of like how you want it. Alright. Okay, add the calamari in there. Now calamari is the type of thing you have to cook it real fast or cook it for days, one or the other. It can't be left in here too long. It's just not gonna, it'll get all rubbery and yucky. So we'll let this sweat. I'm gonna season this, okay? Little salt, about a teaspoon or so, just enough to taste it. Garlic, okay? I want some nice, this is a blend of crushed red pepper. I like it a little spicy. Okay, now this sauce goes very fast. It's a fast sauce. It's not anything that takes a lot of time. Put some parsley in there for color. I'm going to add some of my peppers. Okay. Okay. I'm going to add a little bit of white wine in there and let that simmer down. Then you take a little bit of this. Now you could take a little bit of butter and incorporate some butter in here to finish it off. And this would be great white. This would be a white sauce. You just take your pasta and you fold it in. But me personally, I like it red. So I'm going to throw a little bit of my tomato sauce in there. Okay. Okay. And then we're going to let this go. Oh, I just sauced my beautifully clean towel, damn it. All right, now I've got my pasta soaking here. Now I don't often use a linguine. I like a shape with calamari. because it has a shape. I like a shape with clam sauce too. But everybody's so used to the linguine and the thin spaghetti or whatever they like to use, that's what they use. Okay, now we're going to let this go. I'm going to put some Romano cheese in here. Yes, I eat cheese with my fish. A lot of people don't. I do. And I like it that way. Alrighty. This smells delicious, and it is delicious. Okay, here we go. And that's how fast the calamari cooks, and that's how you want it to cook, quickly. Now you can take a little bit more sauce, okay, and just put it on the top like this. And there you go. That's calamari sauce Tina style. For the next calamari dish, I'm starting out with a little bit of spinach, a little bit of shrimp, a little bit of white wine, okay? This is almost kind of like a real quick stuffing I want to make, okay? I'm going to, in this stuffing, you can use lobster, you can use scallops, you can use crab, you can use just about anything you want in this stuffing. Okay, this is my little container for my stuffing. Just gonna let that wine simmer out. Put a little bit of seasoning in here, because you want it to taste like something, okay? And some salt. Okay, now I'm going to take this off and I'm going to put it into my little container here. Oops, little droppage, but that's okay. I'm going to keep this off the heat for now, okay? And I'm going to move this cutting board because it's a disaster area. And I'm going to pull in some eggs and some Ritz crackers. Actually, I believe they're Townhouse. Alrighty, I'm going to crumble up some crackers in here. Okay. Okay. And I am going to add a little tiny bit of egg, only because the egg will give the stuffing a little bit of lift. You want it to have a little lift. Ooh, whoa, dropsies. Be careful for those dropsies. They'll get you every time. Alrighty, I am going to throw a little bit of cheese in here. Just like that. Now this is not going to be a heavy stuffing. I don't want a lot of seasoning and a lot of, I just want some flavor in here. Alrighty. I'm going to bring this burner down because it's really hot. Alrighty. Alright. And there we go. Now you want a nice loose texture. You don't want anything too tight. That's actually good. Now I've done this a lot of times in the restaurants naturally, and what I do is I stuff the calamari and I put it in the frying pan and I sear it real quick, okay? Working out of a little corner of the kitchen today. I put a little flour in here because we do flour it before. Now I'm not going to worry about the pan being washed off from the stuffing, okay? I just want it to cool down just a tish because it's very, very hot. Okay. Put that in there. And I am going to take a small clove of garlic. We don't want a ton of garlic in this, okay? And we're going to put it into nice thin little rings. I'm going to get that oil hot a little bit. When I cook, I try to get a nice infused garlic flavor with the onions into the oil. I want the oil to taste like something. You gotta have a good olive oil. You're not gonna worry about these little bits here either. Okay. Now, I gotta see if I can find some more little tubes, which I do have some. when you're cleaning these tubes, the reason why I keep sticking my finger in here is because there's none in this. This is really clean. There'll be little cartilages and little ink sacs and different little things. You really don't want them in your calamari. Alrighty, and we are going to put some of the tentacles in here because I want them for the flavor. This was a small little package of calamari, so you don't have to go and buy this huge amount of calamari. Now I'm going to swirl this around, and I'm going to let this rest a little bit because I want the garlic to get soft. All right, so I got a little cleaned up here. We're doing a little better. And what I'm going to do is I am going to take this and I am going to put a little butter in here. Butter is good when you're working with fish. There we go. That'll swirl in there. Now this stuffing, I probably used 4 or 5 shrimp, maybe a tablespoon or so of spinach, tablespoon of maybe onions, garlic, 1 clove, maybe a tablespoon or so of cheese. Taste it, season it, make sure that you know it tastes good. And you're just going to stuff these. Now you want to be careful when you stuff these because squid shrinks, okay? All right, so have a little bit of butter, a little bit of garlic, all right? And I'm gonna take some flour. I'm gonna lightly coat these, let them go to town here. It's gonna take a few minutes for that pan to get hot, but that's okay. There we go. I am gonna throw in these little tentacles here, and give me a couple more. Actually, I got a couple of shrimps I'll throw in here. I'm always improvising. All right. Now, naturally, we're going to season. Okay. Ooh, see this? I found one. This is the kind of cartilage you're going to look for when you're cleaning them. So that was sticking out the top there, so that must have been stuck in the bottom. And we don't want to eat that. Definitely is not good. You know, pepper, salt. Oh, I already salted. I'll salt this twice. This too I like a little hot. You know, I want a little spicy. Okay, so there we go. And a little bit of garlic on the top there. Okay, now this has flour on it. So it's going to thicken, okay? And you want to make sure that these all get nice and brown. Ooh, breaking dishes. Add a little white wine, okay? Now you can add clam juice or chicken broth or whatever you want if you feel it gets too thick. I'm using my knife. Alrighty, I'm going to throw a little more wine in here. I don't think there's enough wine in there. There we go. Okay. I usually have my pasta ready. Add a little bit of chicken stock here because I think that's too thick. And there we go. Just a little bit. That was like only a tablespoon, but it'll take it down enough where you know, you're all set to go. Now I'm going to make sure that these are cooked because if they're not cooked, they're going to be slimy inside. You don't want slimy. Slimy's not good. But if you notice, I'm going to put these to the side here because I'm going to take my pasta and I'm going to mix it over here because I want my pasta to taste like the calamari. And I want to be able to take the stuff off the bottom, which is going to give my pasta a really nice flavor. But I want to put my calamari on the top. Okay? I am going to incorporate a little bit of Romano cheese. I think when you're cooking, whether it's a Pecorino Romano or if you're partial to a Parmesan, you need to use the cheese and the flavors you like in food because that's how it's going to come out. This is a pan-fried stuffed calamari with pasta. Very, very short amount of time you can have this done. This is done. Like I said, with calamari, you either cook it a few minutes or you cook it forever. I'm trying to make my calamari stay on the top. Make sure you get all that nice stuff out of there. Okay. Calamari. I love this kind. Now we're going to do some clam sauces. I'm going to do red and I'm going to do white. Now you can use whole clams, clam strips, shucked clams. I prefer canned clams only because I don't like stomachs and I don't like grit. I got about 6 cans of clams and I cleaned them, washed them, took the little sandbags out. Now when you make red clam sauce, it's a reduction of the clam juice and sauce. You can make it, put as many clams as you want or as little clams as you want. When you make a white clam sauce, I make that a little different than the red sauce because I want it done quickly and I want my pasta sauteed in it. I'm going to show you the 2 different sauces. You could probably use it for both, but this is how I make my clam sauce. I'm going to start with the red clam sauce because the red clam sauce I like to cook and simmer with the clam juice so that the clam juice can reduce and it tastes good in the sauce. You don't want to dilute your sauce with clam juice. And I'm going to start out with a nice tablespoon of onions. And you want to use, this is like 3 cloves of garlic, okay? And you do want to use that. Just take that off. We don't want your garlic to burn or, you know, get brown. I also like to throw in some butter. Okay, the butter will bring the oil down and give a better burn point. Okay. I'm doing this off the heat because, like I said, I don't want it to burn. You can throw in fresh parsley. You can, at this point, if you'd like. I'm going to just use dry. Now, a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper. Well, actually, that's kind of a bit of pepper, but I like pepper. Alrighty, we got all that garlic in there, so we're going to let that melt down. Alright, now, at this point, this is clam juice that I got from the canned clams. Now, even canned clams, if you notice, I took them out of the can, I washed them, I cleaned them. They also have little gritty, like dirt bags inside some of the clams. You don't want that in your sauce. You can also make a tuna sauce similar to this, only I use celery in it, and I do the same thing, whether it's a Italian tuna in oil or just a regular white tuna. Put the tuna juice in there and let it reduce. It's very good. Okay? Just gonna let that go a little more. I want my stuff to get a little bit soft. Okay, now. I do my white clam sauce a little bit different. You can reduce it from here and just use the white with white wine. You can do it that way, but I'm going to show you a faster way after we finish with the red. We're going to bump this up to a boil, and we're going to reduce this in about half, and we'll be back. I'm going to give you a quick recipe here while this is reducing, okay? What I did was I went and bought chopped clams that were in a can. I bought 6 cans. They're little small cans. Gave me about maybe 3.5 cups of clam juice. I never go down to the very bottom because if you look at the very bottom, it's gritty and it's sandy, and that's going to all settle down there. So you want to make sure you put your clam juice in something separate so that it just settles down. This is the clams, okay, that are rinsed and cleaned. This is 6 cans of clams. I'm not going to put the clams in till my sauce is done because these clams are cooked. If you simmer them in this juice and you simmer them in sauce for a period of time, they can turn into rubber balls. You just want to heat those through. You want to put them in so that they come to a simmer. Now what I did was I used about 2 tablespoons, coat the bottom of your pan with olive oil. I used about a tablespoon of butter, 2 tablespoons of onions, and a good 3 cloves of garlic. Got that sauteing, and I added my clam juice. You can add wine to this if you want. When I make a red sauce, my sauce already has wine in it, so I don't add it to this. But when I show you the white clam sauce, I will add wine to that because I use a little bit of a different technique for that. Okay, we're going to let this simmer and we'll be back. All right, now I want you to notice how thick this got. This is reduced in about half. So I went with about 1.5 cups to 2 cups of clam juice, and I reduced it to about a cup. And it is thicker than it was before. Okay, and that's what you want to achieve, because now the clam flavor is concentrated. You're going to take your red tomato sauce. You're going to incorporate this. Now this sauce is already cooked, so you're not going to be simmering this for an hour and for hours and hours. You can make the sauce ahead if you want to. You're going to stir this in. You're going to bring it to a simmer. It is going to be a little bit lighter because you got the clam juice in there. It's important to reduce the clam juice because it'll make your sauce too thin. If you do add too much clam juice, just simmer your sauce out a little longer. So let's say if it's too loose, just keep it simmering, maybe half an hour. You could probably even simmer it for an hour if you wanted to. I reduce the clam juice first, which makes the clam sauce a little faster. It gets done a little faster. I put this on so that we can set up for the white. Okay, let's see if this is hot enough yet. I used about a cup. Now when you're making your clam sauce, I do not use an extensive amount of sauce. I want enough sauce so that if I'm using 6 cups of clams, I want to use about a cup to maybe 2 cups of sauce, only because I want the clam sauce to have the concentration. When I mix my pasta, I don't often use the clam sauce to mix it. I use just regular sauce to mix it. But you can make extra if you wanted to mix it, because this has got a very, very strong flavor of clams. It's going to be a great sauce. And I usually incorporate the clams I need to. So you probably have about 2 cups of sauce here with the, I'll use 4 cans of the clams because I'm going to reserve 2 for the white clam sauce. Okay. We're going to start with our white clam sauce. Okay. Now in here I just have like 2 cloves of garlic and a little bit of onions that are left over. I don't want to go too crazy because I'm just using up the rest of the clams. It's not going to be, it's going to be a 1 serving size. All right, we're going to put a little bit of oil in there. We'll get this going. Okay. I don't want to use the same spoon because it has sauce on it. I am going to deglaze with some white wine. Try not to spray your face like I did. Okay. Okay. And we're going to put in some clam broth, like that. Okay. And we're going to let it reduce while I season it. We're going to season it with some salt. You can make this ahead of time and have it in the fridge. I do that a lot of the times. We do a lot of these sauces on Christmas Eve. I am going to use both kinds of pepper because I want it a little spicy. Okay. Just going to swirl this around a little bit, get the flavors in there. And we're going to just let this reduce a little bit, not too much. I'm going to take a handful of clams. And again, you got to do what you like to eat. Save some for the red. Okay? I'm going to warm these through. Warm those up. Grab a dish. Now this I tend to turn into the pasta, okay? I'm going to throw in a little bit of butter, and this is what's going to give our clam sauce its flavor, okay? I'm going to drain off our pasta. And like I said, when you use the canned clams, they're already cooked. You just want to warm them up. You don't want to, you know, cook them too long, because then they're boiled and they get tough. I'm just going to let this pasta is thin linguine. And there we go. We're going to turn in our cheese. And this is how I like my white clam sauce. Yeah. And here we go. Now if you want, you can add more clam juice if you want a more clammy flavor, and just let it reduce a little longer so that it's thick like the other sauce. But I like this nice and light myself. Now we red real quick, because I'm going to add my clams in now. There's about 2 cups of sauce here. I added a little more. All right, about 4 cans of clams. And there we go. This is just going to mix in. Okay. I'm going to let those heat through, so I'm going to let them come back up to a simmer. I'm not going to cheese my sauce at this point. I'm going to wait till I do the pasta, and then we'll cheese it. So we'll let this come to a simmer, and then we'll plate up our red. Okay, I'm draining out my pasta. Make sure it's drained good. You don't want any water in the bottom. It makes it yucky. Okay? And then we're just going to take our clam sauce. I'm going to shut it off. Pull it off. Okay? And we're going to ladle it from here, and this is delicious. Okay? Okay, my cheese is over by the table. Red clam sauce. Okay. We have calamari with peppers, stuffed calamari in white, white clam, red clam. I'm going to try some of this red clam. Okay, here we go. Mmm. Excellent. Any one of these dishes would be great for Christmas Eve. Thank you for watching Tina Cooks. Have a good night. Hi, I'm Tina Piermarini. Welcome to Tina. Sorry. Ready? Hi, welcome to Tina. Sorry. Hi, I'm Tina Piermarini. Welcome to Tina Cooks. Today I'm sticking my neck out to make clams and calamari for you. Carl, that's like one of the dumbest ones we've ever done yet.